Welcome back. You're listening to Get Real with Bob and Stacy, and you're joining us for our Leaders and Legends segment. Our guest is Jim Oberhofer, Vice President of Operations for Coletta Motorsports and author of Top Fuel for Life, Life Lessons from a Crew Chief. Welcome to the show, Jim.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for having me.
So I want to give everybody some background on James. He is the crew chief for the Mac Tools Top Fuel Dragster, driven by Doug Coletta, and the Vice President of Operations for Coletta Motorsports. He is a second-generation drag racing enthusiast who has worked for Coletta Motorsports for more than 3 decades. He got his first job in drag racing in 1983 when he started cleaning parts at Coletta Motorsports, which led to a part-time crew member position with the team. And his brother John is a crew chief for Coletta Motorsports, and his daughter Ashley oversees social media. In 1990, Jim met his future wife Tammy, who was at Coletta Motorsports as public relations director. He married her 2 years later. They welcomed their only child, Ashley, in 1995. Tammy, who discovered that she had stage 4 lung cancer in 2012, died the following year. With a desire to share his story to a larger audience, he made his debut as an author with his acclaimed book, Top Fuel for Life, which has a 4.9 rating from Amazon. So he's a much sought-after speaker to audiences across the country and is frequently interviewed by sports and mainstream media. So first of all, by the way, this is the first time we've ever had a racing person even on our show, so this is kind of cool. Something different, very different.
Yes.
That's cool.
What inspired you to write your book?
Well, my late wife, Tammy. The struggles that she went through when she found out that she had stage 4 metastatic lung cancer back in basically April of 2012, and what she had to endure as that disease, started taking over her body. It just basically started spreading everywhere. And at the time, I didn't really understand what was going on with her. I didn't understand what she was going through, and to basically live your life not knowing when you were going to take your last breath. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand that. And, for me being a crew chief for a Top Fuel dragster, cars that go, make over 10,000 horsepower, that travel 1,000-foot distance in 3.7 seconds at 330 miles an hour. And, we have quite an operation. We have over, 70 people that work at Coletta Motorsports. And when you make a bad run, you can always fix it,
mm-hmm.
And you would make adjustments, if you went out and you smoked the tires or you didn't make the best run, you would make adjustments and you would fix it. And I always felt like I could fix anything.
Mm-hmm.
I've grown up around cars my whole life. My dad had a paint body shop, and I worked on cars as a young kid and race cars and all these things. And I merely looked at my wife as that she had a bad tune-up in her car and that we could fix that. And it took me about 5 months to realize that she really was dying right in front of my eyes. And at that point, I really started cherishing my time with her, and really, instead of kind of blowing things off that she was going to be okay, I understood what she was going through. I tried to put myself in her shoes, understanding that every day that she woke up was one day closer to possibly the last day for her, and that she didn't have a lot of time on
mm-hmm.
this earth. And I really started trying to focus more on her. I was a selfish person in the fact that I raced and we competed, and I always felt like the things that made me happy were, running a good elapsed time or speed with our race car, or winning a race or something like that. And I felt like those are the only things that are going to make me happy. And I realized shortly afterwards that, the biggest support system I had in my life was my wife, Tammy, and my daughter, Ashley. And I started changing my focus more towards them, and realizing that I've had this great family support for all these years and didn't even know it,
Right.
didn't understand it. And, and I wanted to share that story with people, and, especially in a competitive world, whether it's drag racing, whether it's sports, whether it's business in general, I felt that once I realized how to become a happier person just in general, and happy with the support that I get from my family, the support that I get from people that are close to me, the success started happening. And so my motto has been that happiness breeds success. And I used to think that when I would go to the racetrack, like I said before, the only thing that make me happy is winning and running those great numbers. And since I've changed my focus, that when I show up at the race, I feel very blessed that I'm doing what I love to do. My daughter's there with me because she's our social media lead, and my brother works on one of the cars that we have within the Coletta Motorsports camp, and he's a crew chief on that. And I'm already around family, and then the Coletta family themselves, Connie Coletta, Doug Coletta, they're like family to me. And a lot of the support that I received after my wife died, I felt like, wow, I'm in a great place, and why shouldn't I already be happy when I show up here? And since I started taking that approach, our team's been very successful. Since 2014, our team's won over 22 races and been in over 50 final rounds and won a championship. And there's so many great things that have happened to Coletta Motorsports since I've really changed the way I look at things and how I go about things in life, and I try to be a much happier person just from the fact that I'm blessed that I get to wake up every day and I get to see my daughter, and I get to be with so many great people in my life. So, I wanted to share that story with people, and I wanted to share, how courageous my wife was. In my opinion, she had more courage in her than I will ever have. She was just an amazing lady, and I truly miss her, but I look at things and I look at how blessed I was to have her in my life. And when I look at my daughter and talk to my daughter, I get to see, that part of my wife that is awesome, because my daughter takes so much after my wife. It's really a cool thing.
How old was your daughter when you went through that?
When my wife was getting really sick, she was 17 years old.
Wow.
And my wife's goal was that she wanted to see her daughter, see our daughter graduate from high school. And she put all of her strength together that she had, because cancer was taking her body over. She had cancer in her spine. She had it in her brain. It was everywhere as metastatic cancer spreads among around the body. And, so it was our goal that she was going to be able to see our daughter graduate, and she did. And, she was so proud when my daughter Ashley received her diploma, and, she was my wife was in a wheelchair at that point, very, very sick. And, but when she saw my daughter get her diploma, it was like, for that mere minute, she was so happy, and that she didn't have a pain in the world at that time. And she really was so excited, and that made me so happy. And then it was really basically a few weeks after that is when Tammy passed away. So I was so happy that Tammy was able to see that, because that was her goal, was that she wanted to see our daughter graduate before she passed. And
Right.
And she got to do that.
Wow, that's amazing. By the way, anybody listening, this is Jim Oberhofer, and it's interesting because I know you have a Facebook page where you share like all kinds of awesome motivational quotes and just awesome stuff. You have a huge following on Facebook, but it's all super inspirational.
Yeah, it's something. One of the cool things, that after I wrote this book, and I thought if this book made a difference to just one person, that I would have done something special, in my opinion. And I can't tell you how many people that I get that write me emails, write me letters, send me messages on, social media platforms that come up to me at the racetrack, and they tell me how much of a positive difference that the book has made in their life and how they're going to change things. And people that work in different motorsports that travel as much as I do and are away from their families as much as I was and I am, how much it made a difference to them and how they look at things a lot differently now. And they thank me for basically coming out and saying, what a dummy I was and how selfish I was. They said that took a lot of courage to basically bash on yourself the way that you did. And so I was just trying to be truthful and share with you the mistakes that I made. And if it can help people, that's what I care about. And I have been completely blown away, overwhelmed by the support that I have received from so many people out there, and that is such a cool thing for me.
And Jim, what are a few important life lessons that people will take away from your book?
Well, the main thing, like I mentioned before, is be happy. It's pretty simple. That simple happiness will give you success, and that's the thing that I want people to understand is enjoy life as it is. And there's that old saying, you can look at the glass half empty or half full. And so I choose to look at the glass half full all the time. And I always want people to look at other people, and everybody is good at something. Everybody has a good quality about them. You can look at people and say that, oh, that person's bad, or that person doesn't do this right or doesn't do that right. Everybody is capable of doing something good, no matter who it is. It could be the worst person in the world. And I try to look at people, and I try to look at the good in them all the time. And, here at Coletta Motorsports, we have quite a group of people that work for us. They come from different backgrounds, and they believe in different things. And I look at every one of them, and I'm like, they're all great people, and they just choose to do certain things differently. So I want people to really look at people and say, man, even though that person doesn't seem like it, there is a good quality about that person, and I'm going to find out what that is. And I think that you have to cherish your moments and cherish your life and cherish your people that support you, and and understand that there are good days and there are bad days, but I choose to focus on the good days and not dwell on the bad days. And I want people to be inspired by things, and I want people to whatever it is that they do in life, whether they're a crew chief on an NHRA Top Fuel dragster, or whether they simply work at a local grocery store bagging groceries, no matter what it is that you do, that you put that effort that you have, that 100% effort that you have to do everything the best you can. Make an impact on people. So if you're a guy that bags groceries at a grocery store, and that customer leaves, and that customer goes, wow, that kid did a great job bagging my groceries, and what a great kid, and make people, have that positive feeling about what you're doing, and everybody can do that. So I don't know, I kind of get on the positive kick, because there's, with drag racing, you have your ups and downs. You don't go out and you won't win every single race. You don't run low ET every single time, and you're going to lose a lot more than you win. So you have to keep people motivated all the time in that belief that, things are going to be good no matter what, and you could have a bad run, or you could have a bad race, but you know what? There's always going to be another race. There's always going to be another opportunity to I guess, redeem yourself or do better the next time. And that's kind of what I push on people. That's what I try to really push on my Coletta Motorsports teammates and the people that work for Coletta Motorsports. And, so far it's been working pretty well for us.
So we only have about a minute left. Can you let our listeners know best place to find you? Do you have a website, or where can people find your book?
Yeah, my book is on Amazon.com, and it's Top Fuel for Life Lessons from a Crew Chief. Also, if you're an NHRA drag racing fan, you can find it at the drag races in the Coletta Motorsports merchandise trailer, which is also the Patron merchandise trailer, which is one of our sponsors. Mm-hmm. And we also sell it at ColettaMotorsports.com as well. And then if you wanted to look me up, I have places on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram, all those kind of things. And I try to do what I can social media-wise to share things, with whether it's from my book or from my racing career, mm-hmm. and, put some positive things out there for people to look at.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us today. This is Jim Oberhofer. His book is Top Fuel for Life. You can find him on Facebook, Amazon, or find him at your local drag race. So thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you very much, Bob and Stacy.
That's going to be all for this edition of Get Real with Bob and Stacy. Join us again next weekend for more.